All right, so I just got done with that last vlog, and I got myself thinking about another thing, which I think is fascinating, is analogies, because I was using my forest analogy in the last one, which was mediocre. But I kind of wanted to get really into it, but I was like, I might end up getting lost in this forest. I should get back to the examples or whatever. I haven't watched it back. I just literally finished a second ago, and I was like, I should talk about analogies because to me those are they're an exciting thing because you can, analogies and metaphors, they're fun because it's like world building, right? You can say, okay, what's the rules of this world? What is the objects I want to compare? How are the people that I'm bringing into this world in order to make my point? How are they going to be moving through the world, and what are all those? What are the tools they get to play with? Basically, I get to play with it. They get to play with whatever. But the funny thing is, and this is something I've come to realize because I do this all the time, and then end up having to check myself when I realize I'm just making a thing work, is that analogies and metaphors, you can prove any point. It's a made-up world. You can literally select anything in the world to use as your analogy that you think drives the point you want forward. You could very easily go, okay, well, I want to talk about how great romance is and monogamous relationships and stuff. So you go, penguins are such a great example of the fact that they mate for life and they bring each other these rocks to court each other, and maybe you're wanting to make a point about gay marriage, and you're like, penguins don't care about gender. It's just who they connect with, who's their soulmate, basically. It's like all this you're able to use this one thing to make your point. But then you could go look somewhere else and be like, well, actually, men are not supposed to be with one partner. I mean, look at lions. They have multiple lionesses, and the only ones that don't have multiple are the betas, and it's like there's this, or the males that have not fought to get to have all these women / lionesses. So then people get into their whole alpha beta conversations and stuff like that. You can look anywhere to find the thing to prove your point, even if it's completely polar opposite points. And so that's why they're exciting and why they're dangerous. I don't think any argument should ever be won with those, really, although I have used them in arguments. But and I think, sometimes, even though they are dangerous, because it's storytelling, and it's storytelling that sets up false logic, because if you think about it, like, any logic really is basically stringing together concepts that you see in a line, that you can visualize in a line, but your mind is a world of your own that you're a master of. And people can say something's bad logic or good logic, and there are things that make sense to less people, or have like a really obvious glaring hole in the logic, that kind of stuff, so you can pick it apart easily. But usually, if you're just going off logic and you're not using tests and examples and hard evidence, you're usually working with a lot of holes. So it's sort of like a light analogy, But I think the positive side is that when you're trying to connect with someone about something or get on the same page about something, they're a great tool to sync up the way you're thinking with someone else. So assuming you're not using it as a manipulation and you're using it to connect with someone, it can be a really cool thing, because even if it's a failed thing, not failed, it's a flawed way of reasoning. Basically, everything's flawed. We're living in chaos, and we don't really have control of anything. And if there's one thing that's really amazing in this world, it's syncing up with someone else and being able to move forward. And even if you're not syncing up with someone else, it's just using analogies for yourself to be able to decide and move forward is, removes the chaos of or the cripplingness that can be the unknowing. If you don't know the answer and you need to move forward in a direction, sometimes you need to start comparing things in order to find a way that you feel comfortable moving forward. And hopefully those ways usually work out, and then you get to feel like you've got good analogies. Yeah. So that was that one. That one kind of came out of last one. I know I'm undermining my previous conversation a little bit, but I think that's good. Check yourself. I kind of get excited about being wrong, or thinking about whether something I'm saying or doing is not right for whatever reason, because it's like hunting for growth. It's like, where can I expand myself? There's all these opportunities, basically in the things that you are sure of. Those are limiters on you, oftentimes, that you can break by just going, okay, how does this all this other information, how does it apply to what I'm looking at, and does it change how the rules work, and that kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, that was a fun little tangent, or I guess it was his own vlog now. So see you tomorrow.